The Airmail Fiasco. In 1934, President Roosevelt had his hands full with what the press called the Airmail Fiasco. Pilots of the U.S. Army Corps, USAAC, who at the time were regarded as the nation's best airmen, were routinely dying in crashes while attempting to deliver the mail. On February 16, 1934, days after the USAAC took over their airmail responsibility, 3 pilots were killed on their route familiarization flight due to blizzard conditions. Just 2 weeks later, an airman was killed when he lost his gyroscopic instruments in a snowstorm and attempted to bail out of his plane via parachute, only to be struck by the tail. The same day, another pilot was killed during a forced off-airport landing. Just 1 week into the operation, the USAAC had lost 6 airplanes and airmen, respectively. Publicly embarrassed, President Roosevelt summoned General Benjamin Foulet, who asked, "General, when are these airmail deaths going to stop?" This one-way conversation led everyone to think, is there a better way to train pilots? The answer was a resounding yes, and it came in the form of an odd-looking big blue box. The Blue Box. Edwin Albert Link Jr. was the son of a piano maker from New York. At a young age, he developed a love for flying. The cost of flying, however, prohibited him from pursuing it seriously. Upon leaving school in 1927, he began developing a flight simulator out of piano and organ bellows from his father's factory. Link named his crude device the Link Aviation Trainer, and ran an advertisement claiming he could help pilots fly in the blind through all types of weather. Sales were dismal, to say the least. To make matters worse, when Link went to file his patent, the U.S. Patent Office deemed it an amusement device. Discouraged and nearly out of money, Link took his trainer on the road to carnivals, charging 25 cents per ride to help make ends meet. In 1934, Link found a platform for his trainer. The Army Air Corps was desperate for a solution to their airmail fiasco. Therefore, in March of 1934, the Army Air Corps asked him to demonstrate the capabilities of one of his trainers. Link, now a pilot, flew his airplane from his home in Cortland, New York, to Newark, New Jersey for the meeting. The day of the meeting was foggy, with zero visibility in driving rain. The Army Air Corps officers, now all too familiar with the dangers of such weather, determined that no pilot could fly in such conditions and called the meeting off. As they began to leave the airport, they heard a familiar sound overhead. Minutes later, that sound appeared out of the driving rain to make a near-perfect landing on the runway right before their eyes. I'm sure the officers expected Lindbergh or Rickenbacker to emerge from the flight deck, but it was none other than Edwin Link. This performance alone led the Army Air Corps to purchase their first 6 Link trainers and to eventually go on to purchase over 10,000 units with the emergence of World War II. By the end of the war, over 500,000 airmen had logged time in a Link trainer. Perfect practice makes perfect. What was it exactly about the Link trainer that made pilots better? Science proves again and again that deep practice, that is, practice where we go until the point of error